Hey guys, the Fire Brothers here. It's just me. My brother couldn't be here today, as always, because he is busy wearing a potato sack to conceal his identity. Yes, those who, were on my stream yesterday will know what I'm talking about, and the potato sack memes are starting to become a thing on my Discord, so I felt like I should mention that. Anyways, these are the jokes. There are no refunds available. So, we all know that the Autobots are commonly depicted as the good guys in the Transformers movies. But then again, we all know that the Transformers movies are a bunch of Autobot propaganda. This is nothing new, and I'm just saying this for the people who are uncultured swines and need some education. But even though the movies are meant to promote pro-Autobot sentiment, still, every here and there, and if you read between the lines, there are some examples of the Autobots actually doing some pretty questionable things to either the Decepticons or the humans around them. In this video, we're going to be covering all the evil acts committed by the Autobots in the Transformers movies, or the Autobot propaganda films as they should be properly called. Sit back, relax, grab some soda, enjoy the video, and remember, Decepticons forever! Probably one of the most famous examples of the Autobots' hidden evil would be in Revenge of the Fallen. Now, the Decepticon known as Sideways and Demolisher were both peacefully living in Shanghai, hiding from both the Autobots and Nest. Not shortly thereafter, the Autobots actually found out where the two were hiding, and they sent a strike force of new Autobot recruits and Nest forces. Sideways and Demolisher both remained hidden until the Nest forces got too close and they were forced to leave the area as quickly as they could. Not only were they attacked as they were trying to leave, which it's a war crime, you can't shoot someone that's surrendering. But at the same time, the Autobots' way of dealing with the Decepticons was really questionable. Sideways was not even given a chance to surrender. The Autobots kinda just showed up and killed him mercilessly. Same with Demolisher. He was taken out of commission and he was still active. He was still alive. And instead of, just capturing him and offering maybe some medical assistance and take him in as a war prisoner, Optimus Prime found it easier to just execute the Decepticon. Which I'm pretty sure that counts as a war crime, attacking an enemy that's basically unarmed. Now granted, Demolisher did cause a bit of mayhem and he probably killed a bunch of humans during his escape, but he did that because the humans provoked him. If the humans hadn't shown up and just kept surveillance on those two, do you really think that Demolisher would have exposed himself and just start causing havoc amongst the city? Probably not. For the next questionable thing that the Autobots did in the movies will have to be the entirety of the Battle of Mission City. Now, the Autobots are basically trying to protect the Allspark, and they basically use the city as cover, like to quote-unquote hide it, as it was stated in the movie. The city was meant to be a rendezvous point, while the human forces and the Autobots are just strolling around, waiting for, helicopters to come in and pick up the Allspark far away from the Decepticons. They intended to use the city as basically a human shield, like the buildings provide cover, the streets provide cover. For the Autobots and the human forces, the city does make tactical advantage to some degree. But then again, they're also putting a lot of human lives at risk. If Optimus is truly someone who constantly, and I mean constantly, worries about human lives and stuff, to the point that he probably cares about them a bit more than his own Autobot troopers, well, at least until Age of Extinction, why would he put so many human lives at risk? A city is a very condensed, populated area. With all the explosions and Autobots, being thrown around and stuff, I'm pretty sure that quite a few humans got not only killed in the blast fire, but at the same time probably got squashed to death by the Decepticons and the Autobots being thrown around buildings. Well, granted, maybe changing the location of the battle to a desert could have made this more difficult. It would have still endangered way less human lives than the actual battle did. Originally, even some of the writers of the first movie were thinking of moving the final battle from the city to the Grand Canyon so less civilian lives will be in danger. But still, while the reason is understandable, at the same time, it probably could have been avoided. Next up, we move to Dark of the Moon, and while the Autobots were not directly involved with this, soon after their spacecraft was destroyed, the Decepticons invaded Chicago and killed millions. The effects of the Chicago battle are still felt by the end of Age of Extinction and The Last Night. And consider this, the Autobots left. They left the human defenseless, like they didn't warn them about anything or try to, help them. They basically said, okay, the humans kicked us out, so now they're gonna deal with the Decepticons. And the reason why they do this is to prove a point. Optimus Prime even said that your leaders will now understand, Decepticons will not leave this planet alone, and we needed them to believe we had gone. So Optimus let the humans and Decepticons believe that they were gone. So the Decepticons would come in, killed a bunch of humans, and basically prove a point. Optimus Prime just let millions of people die to prove a point. If that's not evil, I don't know what is. Now granted, if the Autobots have helped Ness and the human military during the initial invasion of Chicago, I'm not completely sure they would have made much of a difference since, there's so few of them, but still, maybe their involvement could have actually saved quite a few human lives, but just because of that, I think this is a pretty evil act committed by them. Now this one should be no surprise, but the Autobots basically caused the extinction of the Transformer race. Megatron and the Decepticons' sole and noble reason for fighting was that they wanted Cybertron restored. They needed the Allspark to bring new life to the, species. They wanted the Star Harvester to restore, fuel, energy, and life to Cybertron. And in Age of Extinction and The Last Night, they wanted to use Earth to, basically revitalize a dead Cybertron, because without the planet, there's not gonna be any more Transformers, there's not gonna be any more life, there's not gonna be any more energy on it, it's already running scarce. So by siding with the humans, Optimus and the Autobots have essentially sentenced the species to extinction. Now granted, if they hadn't stopped the Decepticons, then the humans would have been the ones that would have bite the dust. But is the extinction of an entire species a good thing or a bad thing? This is one of those things that while it's not straight out evil, it falls more on that gray area if, they did the right thing or if they didn't do the right thing. That's up to you to decide, but in terms of the species, from their perspective, they kinda doomed themselves. And by the end of The Last Night, Cybertron didn't actually, revitalize because they were trying to kill Unicron and use his essence to restore Cybertron, but at the end of the day, that never happened, and Cybertron remains a dead planet. Yeah, that speech of Optimus Prime saying that they need to work together and rebuild their planets, yeah, that's just Optimus Prime in denial. Killing your enemy is one thing, but basically when you rip their spines and use it to beat other enemies, or even removing people's face in very gruesome ways, or straight up dismemberment, those are really extreme acts of not only war, but in a way they're also very torturous. Like, you don't see humans doing that. Who's the most civilized one between the two? I mean, really guys, like, are you guys doing the good guys? The Bumblebee movie Bumblebee was never that brutal. I mean, there was the whole thing with Dropkick, but, he kinda asked for it and it was a bit more quicker and painless. A bit. But yeah, the fatalities that the Autobots perform on the Decepticons, it's not only sort of extreme and over the top, but they also seem to revel in it. The Autobots are constantly talking about, killing Decepticons and stuff. And I mean, sure, they're the enemy, and that's understandable, but when do you draw the line at, killing your enemies because you have to, and gore and torture for the sake of it? Like, it looks like some of them actually do enjoy that. The Wreckers in Dark of the Moon are a perfect example of this. Will someone who's not evil really take pleasure in the suffering of others? Especially when it's done very slow and painfully. Bumblebee, I'm looking at you. But anyways guys, those are just a few evil acts committed by the Autobots in the Transformers propaganda films. I am thinking of doing another video talking about, other evil acts that they committed, but I figured that this is gonna be a nice part 1 to end it in. There's probably a few more things I missed, and if I do, feel free to list them in the comments down below. The Autobot propaganda video is still coming. I don't really have a release date for it because, I'm just working on a few videos to get some of my views up because, I haven't been uploading lately. And for now, I'm just gonna be doing my own thing. At least until I regain a lot of the views I lost over, the weeks that I haven't been uploading. So, yeah guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit me up with a like, comment down below your thoughts on it, and subscribe if you're new. and yeah, you know, the usual stuff. So that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video, and remember, Decepticons forever!